David Cunliffe, the living wage, how quickly would you get that into action for the core public service?
We are looking at having provisions for that in our first budget. We'll confirm that when we see the financials taking office. That's out.
So in the first budget, the living wage for all core public service employees,
Based on the preliminary cost of living, that's affordable. We've been able to response to this.
So would it effectively be a minimum wage rate? Is that how you introduce it?
The minimum wage and the living wage are two very different and separate things because the minimum wage applies economy-wide. What we're saying is that within the core public service we would take a leadership position. And frankly, there are only a relatively limited number of civil servants who are currently below the living wage, which is why it is an affordable commitment to make at this point. We will roll it out as we can afford within a responsible fiscal framework.
so how quickly would someone in the core public service get to that? Immediately after the 2015 budget?
But that's a detail I'll come back to. As I say, it's our intention, subject to the provisions of fiscal responsibility, for us to include this in our first budget.
Doesn't that have the potential to cause resentment among the wider economy about public servants getting paid when other people might be struggling on low wages?
Well, you have to start somewhere, and I believe that we in government have to talk of fairness and decency in the workplace, which is why we have to set an example, and we intend to use government procurement in a way that we can give some preference to certified living wage employers to encourage the private sector to follow suit where they can.
You've changed it slightly from your promise during the leadership campaign, because there you talked about contractors receiving it. I take it you're no longer talking about contractors.
No, I think you can see this in several steps. Contractors obviously can be covered by the point I've just made, which is that an incentive in the government procurement system for certified living wage employers will encourage that. So within the Crown sector, you start with a core civil service, you then roll out to the Crown entities, and then you look at what you can do with contracting. So I don't think we've changed the commitment. What we are doing is saying we need to balance that with responsible fiscal management.
Contractors wouldn't get right away, so spotless employees working for the government, like the cleaners in Parliament,
Well, it would be our aim to develop this certified living wage employer preference scheme as quickly as we can, and obviously that will create an incentive for any company, including spotless, to participate.
What sort of costings have been done on the $15 minimum wage?
I haven't got that number with me, but from memory, I believe it's a relatively modest cost to the Crown.
How quickly would Labor get to 26 weeks paper into leave? Would that be a first 100 days?
It's a commitment that we have talked about being our intention in our first term. There's my hope that we can move reasonably soon in our first term, but we don't know exactly what the state of the books is going to be yet, and we're having to balance that with the need to be fiscally responsible, which we will.
Also, in there you spoke about remission of student loans for nurses. Is that something that you have?
We've said that we are attracted to aspects of the government's bonding scheme, where they allow doctors and some nurses, I believe, to go out and work in regional New Zealand. We see building on that as part of a more regional government strategy. We'll be releasing details about it.
So you weren't talking about remission of student loans for nurses coming back from overseas to help with the wholesale workforce here?
Not specifically, we'll rule out that being
So that would be a possibility that you would...
in my speech that we would be looking at what the government has actually started in the area of bonding for various professions where we need to go work.
But that's quite different. That's quite different bringing them back from their OE.
I don't think the words I use were specific to bringing people back from overseas, but I wouldn't necessarily exclude that. We've got more work to do on that policy. I'm simply saying that we are attracted to the idea of expanding bonding provisions for regional New Zealand and to retain people in New Zealand.
Bringing people back from overseas and remitting student loans, wouldn't that send a message of go overseas and you'd be disadvantaged if you actually stay in New Zealand?
No, look, I think you're building on a previous question, which I haven't confirmed in my response, which is we are going to, no, we haven't ruled anything out, we've got more work to do in this area. We're simply saying that there is some attraction to the idea of bonding.
How important was it to you to sort of give your first major speech to a union audience?
I've been giving a few speeches since I took office, but this is a very important core audience for Labor, and we are part of a Labor movement, as I said, which is all about bringing fairness and decency to our workplaces, and ensuring that working New Zealanders can live good and decent lives and be a little better off than they are. So it's a very happy coincidence that I have the opportunity to underline our primary campaign commitments, to reaffirm them as leader of the Labour Party and to say that we are going to do exactly what we said we would.
And how
You made
closely...
reference to the fact that, that you would really need them to be organising to get that vote out this time.
That's true.
To what extent do you feel that they might have been listened at the last election?
I'm really not in the best position to say. What I do know is that there is, I believe, a mood change on in New Zealand. I see it every day when I'm out in the regions where people are coming up and asking, almost begging us to get rid of the current government and to bring a sense of fairness to workplaces. I think that with good organisation and with clarity of purpose, a lot of the people who couldn't be bothered voting last time will sure as heck be bothered next time.
People are coming up and begging you to get rid of the current
On the
government.
street in Dunedin yesterday, literally grabbed my arm, begging me to get rid of John Key and the national government because they've had guts for it.
How closely do your policies align with that of the Council of Trade Unions?
There's a reasonable degree of overlap. We're not committing to doing everything on the timetable that the CTU would like, and obviously, as I said in my remarks, it's got to be part of a package that includes sustainable, responsible economic development, so that we lift productivity and lift wages sustainably.
And how often do you envisage that you'll be meeting with Helen Kelly?
Pretty regularly. It's a very important constituency group for us, but I'll also be meeting with Phil O'Reilly at Business New Zealand and Connor English at Federated Farmers and a whole lot of other people who are core stakeholders in the New Zealand economy.
And what's your message?
$15 minimum wage, you said that it would be relatively conservative cost to the core public service, but obviously with the wider costs for the private sector. So have you got any costings?
I haven't got the number, but I can come back to you on that.
How quickly would you guys, how quickly would Labour scrap that, scrap the youth rates?
I've indicated in the speech today that there are a package of measures that would roll back the current government's anti-worker agenda, which we would strongly consider as part of that first 100 days.
So youth rates could go in the first 100 days.
First 100 days.
And the right to fire as well in case of
The retirement commissioners today suggest pegging the age of retirement to our life expectancy, which essentially raises our retirement age. What do you think of that?
Well, look, Labour does have a policy of trying to ensure that publicly funded superannuation is sustainable and therefore New Zealanders into the future, and we have to realise that we live in a country with a rising life expectancy. That's a good thing. We have to be able to balance the books both now and in the long term. And so Labour has said that from 2020 we will see a gradual age of the retirement age up to 67. We're also very set on making sure that that's done in a way that is fair and equitable to all, including people who aren't always in the workforce and people who are doing manual jobs whose bodies are worn out.
John Key's,
We'll be doing more work on those equity and fair decisions.
John Key's increasingly on his own at keeping it at 65, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't believe that John Key's telling New Zealanders the truth about this problem. I believe he understands very, very well that there's a huge fiscal hole in the out years if some responsible change is not made. The trick is to do it, to signal it early so New Zealanders have every opportunity to make the adjustments in their personal lives that they need to do, to be upfront and honest with New Zealanders. And I don't believe he is being that.
Māori television reported that one Labour MP hadn't pledged loyalty to you. Is that correct?
No, it's not. We've had a general discussion about the need to work together as a team, and I'm absolutely delighted that our entire caucus is locked in behind our common goal of winning the
34 out of 34.
Yes, indeed.
Have you sought loyalty pledges individually?
No.
No shape or form.
No.
Have you spoken to Trevor Mallard?
Yes.
What's he been doing?
In what regard?
Well, he's been overseas.
He's back in New Zealand and I'm working hard for his electorate.
Was he at the caucus in Dunedin?
No, he had a speech that he had, pardon me, previously committed to, which was in the past.
So you think his trip to San Francisco was all the full?
Yes, I do.
What was he doing there?
Supporting Team New Zealand as a sport and recreation spokesperson, which is my primary responsibility for supporting the Members' Cup.
Will he stand again at the next election?
Agility will. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.